Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. One of the main reasons I came out here is to talk to you about the rich history of duck hunting, not only across the country, but also in my home state of South Carolina. Duck calling and duck hunting is truly an American sport. Now granted, people from all over the world have shot and killed ducks for consumption, but the art of duck hunting, the decoys, blinds, specialized equipment, and especially duck calls is truly an American art form. Calls have been around a long time, they have evolved, and so has the competition between individuals. Now everyone's heard of the World Championship of duck calling over in Stuttgart, Arkansas. It's held every November. It's Main Street calling, but other states have them as well. Now I am very fortunate today to be with a man who I consider my mentor in duck hunting, and that's my dad, aka Old Papa Duck. Some of you may know him as John Wangray. He's an author. He's written countless duck hunting stories and accounts in all types of magazines, from Outdoor Life to American Waterfowler to Wildfowl. He's written several books. 3 of them are cookbooks, some fiction and non-fiction books. So I'm very fortunate today to have him with me. Remember about the very first South Carolina State Duck Calling Championship. Now the very first South Carolina State Duck Calling Championship was held on October 19th, 1968. Now this contest was going to be held at what we call in our area Burnt Gin, and down in Manchester State Forest. I have here is the original pamphlet that came out along with the Sumter County Game and Fish Association sponsors the first South Carolina State Duck Calling Championship. This is the very first pamphlet that was printed out, has a listing of the contest rules inside. The very first South Carolina Duck Calling Championship was won, the state champion in 1968 was won by Ed Lawrence from Columbia, South Carolina. The runner-up was E.K. Schulard out of Columbia, South Carolina, and in third place was E.M. Watt from Sumter, South Carolina. Like I said, I'm very fortunate today to have my dad, aka Papa Duck, and I just want him to tell y'all how the contest started, and all the nuances that went with this contest. Okay guys, I'm here with my dad. Like I said, he's my mentor. He taught me everything I know about duck hunting. He taught me everything I know about life in general. But this is my dad, John Wangray, aka Papa Duck. Daddy, what I want to talk about today is how the South Carolina State Duck Calling Championship started.
Okay, it was around 1967. I was getting ready to go to work with the state newspaper in Columbia, South Carolina, as their outdoors writer. At the time before, I was on the board of the Sumter County Game and Fish Association, county I'm from, and we were down on the Santee National Wildlife Refuge. We went down and visited the refuge manager. I believe his name was Tom. While we were at the meeting there with the refuge manager, somebody said, well, why don't we do something as a club? And no one had ever done much. And I came up with the idea of a duck calling championship. It never had been one in South Carolina, you know, and so I put it all together. I was the founder of it. And then the first one was held in 1967.
67 or 68?
68.
68. When did so you got the idea, what, 1966,
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
been thinking about it. So in 1967,
Yeah,
the contest started,
yeah,
the first contest.
yeah. And so we put it all together, and we had it out of a place called Burnt Gin, which is on the Manchester State Forest. They had a pond there. And so we got as much publicity out as we possibly could. And then I went to work for the state newspaper and started covering them myself. So we had the first one, and like I said, there were people then on the board who helped me arrange everything. And so we went out there and we did the championship, and had callers from over the state of South Carolina because none had ever been held on such championship as this. We had a fairly good turnout, maybe 20-something people showed up, and that's basically how the whole thing really started. And that's about all I do remember about it, the beginning. It's getting to be a few years back.
Yeah.
And so my thoughts.
And so you were getting ready to go to work for the state newspaper.
Yeah.
And then after you went to work, you just started covering them.
Right.
You kind of put it all together, and then you let the
Yeah.
Game and Fish Association, Sumter County Game and Fish
Yeah.
Association,
Yeah.
kind of run it after that.
Right. And then when I left the state newspaper to go freelance work, they must have somewhere along the line dropped the ball, because I read in a newspaper, a newspaper and a magazine, and they had people who claimed that they started it. No, I'm challenge any of them to put their material against my material. I'm saying every scrap of paper, all the newspaper clippings from around the state of South Carolina. It was in one clipping. It's the first duck call championship will be held, such and such a day. And so, but after that, I just kind of got away from it. Then, like I said, I read this article in a newspaper in my hometown, Sumter. Then I read an article in South Carolina Wildlife, and both of them were given really a different account of how it happened. And like I said, I think it dropped and then it was restarted.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. And so we sent the winner to Stuttgart, Arkansas to compete. We never did get a winner from it.
Right. Well, let me ask you something, because I've spoken on this a couple of times, and so the winner of the 1967 duck calling contest was sent to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And did you go with them? Did you go with them?
No.
That year?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Because I read somewhere that in like 1967, 1968, the duck limit, when I say duck limit, the mallard limit was like 1
In Arkansas.
in Arkansas.
That's hard to believe.
That's hard to believe.
It ain't good all the time, even in Arkansas.
Right.
But they've had so much publicity over the years.
Right.
You think Arkansas, one state in the United States, automatically it's going to be Arkansas.
Right.
And there's great duck hunting many places besides Stuttgart that I would have been fortunate to visit and hunt with the people and do magazine articles on them.
That's how it started.
That's as simple as I can get it.
Right.
But anyway, like I said, there's controversy about the two, who started it, etc., etc. But I have, like I said, I've kept every scrap of paper from those days. And so, of course, the two accounts, well, one of them said they didn't want to get into any controversy. And I later told us, right, I said, well, time as you mentioned something, you started controversy.
Correct.
Right there's no way to get around it. And I'd like for the other people to meet them somewhere and go with what they've got and compare it to what I've been able to do with it.
Right. And I'm quite sure that's what happened, because the Sumter County Game and Fish Association is no more. And it was, you know, even me growing up, I don't ever remember it. I mean, I would have been in '67. I'd have been two years old.
Yeah.
So I never experienced the Sumter County Game and Fish Association. So, and if it went away and the contest dropped, and then somebody picked it back up, that's understandable. I mean, that's right. But I think our biggest thing right now is in, you know, this concept, you know, was thought about in 1967, early 1966, 1967, and on October 18th, or was it October 19th? October 19th, 1968. And like I said, this is the original pamphlet, and it's got the contest rules in it. The entry fee was $6 at that time, and $1 of that fee would be donated to Ducks Unlimited. So here it is, guys. Here is the original pamphlet, and
Like I
for the
said,
first South Carolina State Duck Calling Championship.
I'm not trying to be top dog of this thing.
Right.
I just want the right material put out there once and for all.
That's correct.
You know, yes, I was the founder of it. That's where it ends with me. And Sumter County Game and Fish Association. And is it, of course, all the old people who were there were old when I was there. I wasn't then. And they just let it go by the wayside, and a new group came along, and that's why I said somebody else restarted it. But in the restarting, if they don't have the original work with them, yeah, they would think they started it.
Yeah.
They got nothing to compare it to.
Correct.
And I'm ready to meet anybody with a civil, meeting.
Civil discord, yeah.
Yeah, just don't
Of course,
get it.
of course.
There's no need for that.
No.
But the history, the true history has to be known.
Correct.
Yeah, and so, and that's, it was a lot of work in the beginning, I know that. Getting letters from everyone, newspaper clippings, but it went together. I think for the next year or so, it was still at Burnt Gin. And I think it moved to a place called Camp McBoykin on the Manchester State Forest.
Yeah.
And there's a pond out there too. And but you know, just about all the people that helped me with that now, I think I did.
Right.
You know, going. There might be a couple of them left. And the way it started, I was trying to find judges.
How many judges were there?
There were 3 judges.
Do you remember any of their names from?
I only can recall one name. It was Harry Babcock, and Havilah Babcock, the writer, was his uncle.
Was his uncle?
And then one day, I got a letter and wanted to know if we would like to come to his place to hunt in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Well, sure. I mean,
Yeah,
it
who
was
wouldn't?
a dream. You know, I was still a kid. And so he sent the plane tickets. You know, and we flew us, you know, like I say, plane tickets, and took care of us. But the only thing drawback was there was only a 1 bird limit on
One
that
bird
one.
limit.
Yeah.